God bless football. Chris?
God bless football, Mikey A.
God bless football, Stugotz.
Chris Cote is in for Billy Gill. Billy Gill is on vacation. Billy Gill goes to, he goes to Orlando a lot. He goes to Disney World a lot. Chris, you're from down here. Who the hell goes to Disney World? It's 117 degrees out. Who does that when you live down here? You're 3 hours away. Who does that in the middle of July? Huh?
It's a rookie move for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know when you're supposed to go. It's bad to go during the summer. It's bad to go at the holiday times. Like, when are we supposed to go to Disney? It's always crowded.
January.
It's always annoying.
Yeah, January.
Okay.
Yeah, January. Mikey is right. When everyone flies home for the holidays, they go back home because school starts again. You go January. That's what you got to do.
I'm going to defend Billy, though, because I'm a Disney guy. I love
Right.
Disney. I would call myself a Disney guy. So I'm going to defend Billy and say, even though it's hot, I bet him and his family, his two adorable kids, they're having a great time.
Yeah. The kids are.
Yeah, Billy's miserable.
I want to bring back a segment from last week, a game we played called, can I ask you guys a question?
Yes, you
Can I
can.
ask you guys a question?
But just hold on a second before you do that so I could set this thing up, okay? Because we have made it past July. It's a very crucial month to make it past here on God Bless Football. We are in August now. There was a football game last night, the Hall of Fame game. Football is here, fellas. We are 4 weekends away from a midnight home game at Hawaii. I mean, this is very exciting. So we have to start taking this thing seriously, okay? And Chris Fallica, the Bear, who is part of the noon kickoff show on Fox, is going to join us coming up here in about 10 minutes. And now, Mike, you can ask me a question.
Well, you just kind of ruined everything I was going to do by making it serious and about football, because I was going to ask you guys a question. Is Billy the most important person on God Bless Football? Because he's the only one we work to replace. When you were out, we're just like, all right, we'll do it. When I'm out, you just, all right, we'll do it.
Wait, time out.
When Billy's out, we bring in Chris Cote.
I was told, well, I love Chris Cote, but I was told there was a cast of thousands when I was out. Charlie Kravitz.
One of the times.
And yes, Billy is the most valuable person here on God Bless Football. I mean, well, no, I take it back.
I mean,
Chris Sims, Mike Golick, the most valuable people here on God Bless Football, because their credibility gives us credibility, and it allows us to get guests, and it allows us to act like complete jackasses because they're so knowledgeable and credible. So those two are the most important.
I was going to get back on this show this week, whether Billy was here or not. I told Stugotz this week, football's back. I'm going on GBF.
Good.
Right. Where does K-Funk rank on the importance rankings?
Without K-Funk, that segment died 2 years ago.
You're right. I wish it did.
It's still dragging itself across the desert.
Do you have any further questions?
No, that's if I got another one later, I'll ask you guys a question.
All right. Chris, it was I was looking at his stats. And I have to tell you, because
Dangerous game.
What was that?
Dangerous game.
It is a dangerous game.
Stats.
He is the most polarizing quarterback in the NFL. Like, Trevor Lawrence gets his money, no one says a peep except for Billy. Jordan Love gets his money and not a peep. Tua gets his money, and like national sports radio explodes into a conversation as to whether or not he deserves his money. Tua, over the last 2 seasons, has started 30 of the 34 available games to start. He started all 17 last year, yet people still question his health because we saw him stumble around the field against Buffalo in a game in which he probably should have come out of. But Tua, over the last 2 years, Chris, 54 touchdowns, 22 interceptions. He has a QB rating of like 103, and his head coach, who is a genius, who is smart, who is a good head coach, in my opinion, thinks Tua is the perfect quarterback for his offense. And who are we to argue with him?
Who are those? How are those stats in cold weather? Huh? How about when he's out of the pocket? I mean, geez.
Against winning teams?
How about late in the season? I mean, I'm with you. When everything's perfect, too, I'm with you. The numbers look nice, but it's just there's some things here we got to see. And I'm not sitting here saying that Tua can't be good in cold weather and can't win playoff games and can't win late in the year against good teams. But we haven't seen it yet. So until we see it, we're going to question it. And I'm kind of like, you don't agree with the people? Like, I think Trevor Lawrence and Jordan Love, like, they look better than Tua. Am I wrong on this?
Trevor Lawrence, debatable. Jordan Love, the big difference here, sorry, Mikey, the big difference here between Jordan Love and Tua, and why no one is criticizing Jordan Love, is the Packers have had a run at quarterback that no team in the history of the NFL has had. I mean, they're now going on a third decade with an elite quarterback, and so people trust in that system. Whatever they're doing there, it's going to work out. Favre to Rodgers, now to Jordan Love. The other big difference is Jordan Love, while he lost at San Francisco through an interception, final drive of that game, a game they could have won. The one thing you remember last year, the one thing he's done that Tua hasn't done, is he's won a playoff game, and he did it on the road against a really good Dallas Cowboys team.
Exactly.
What's interesting about Trevor Lawrence and Tua is I feel like there's a fine line of people who believe in Trevor Lawrence. They're like the tape studiers, like the Sims. The Sims, like, I studied the tape, and Trevor Lawrence is really good. Tua maybe not so much. Whereas, like, with Tua, you can have people on all sides of every aisle that think he's great or think he's terrible.
Look, Jordan Love.
I just don't know
if you see Jordan Love,
Chris,
you see Jordan Love outside of the pocket, he's making throws accurately. Like, guys, like, I wish I had clips now that I could play. I wish I was like a film guy. I wish I was like Jaws, where I could just be like, let's go to the film here and look at
Trevor
Tua.
Lawrence.
Tua is not accurate out of the pocket. Like, maybe he can get better at it, but everything has to be perfect for Tua. That's the difference. I mean, I haven't seen a ton of Trevor Lawrence outside of the pocket. Like, we'll see whether he's good in that realm, but that's the problem with Tua, is that it has to run perfectly. Whereas Mahomes, Josh Allen, these plays break down. I am terrified when Josh Allen is out of the pocket. When Tua is out of the pocket, no, when I say that, I'm terrified as a defender. Whereas when Tua is out of the pocket, I'm terrified for the Dolphins.
Yes. No, that is so well said, because if the play breaks down, the Dolphins got nothing.
Right.
When the play breaks down in Buffalo and Kansas City, you're more nervous if the play just ran exactly the way they wanted to run it.
I would rather have Josh Allen drop back 3 steps and make a throw than break down in the pocket, roll out. I'm like, oh my God, he's going to throw a 40-yard pass. Like, that is the difference between Tua and a lot of these other quarterbacks. CJ Stroud, like, you trust these guys out of the pocket, and Tua is just
thank God we kept him on time.
I do love the idea of playing the Chiefs and playing the Bills. Chris is right, and you just rush 3 and play prevent defense.
Seriously, like, just contain with Josh Allen. Like, I wouldn't even rush him. I would just, like, have all my defensive guys just kind of like hover around the line. Like, you can't come here. Try to throw it. Just throw it.
Right. Force him to throw.
Yes.
Hit those 3-yard hitches.
Oh, that is so good. Josh Allen's going to have so much pressure on him this year.
Yeah.
Like, he really is, because he wins that battle with Stephon Diggs. Diggs is now playing with CJ Stroud. Houston's going to be trouble. Oh my God, they're going to be good. But Josh Allen now has no wide receivers, Chris. We'll see. We'll see just how good Josh Allen is. Yep. Like Patrick Mahomes, what he did with Tyreek Hill was super impressive. What he's done without Tyreek Hill has been even more impressive.
Right.
And so we're going to see what Josh Allen could do without a number 1 wide receiver and a number 2 in Gabe Davis. Yep. I went too far.
Yeah.
I took it too far. I did.
Oh, man.
Sure.
I'm
okay.
We won't have a Thursday without football till February, boys.
You're so excited, aren't you?
It's so exciting.
Listen, July is a benchmark. You got to make it through July. Once you get through the dog days of summer really aren't July in terms of football. Once you get to August, you've arrived. I mean, you've arrived. There's college football coming up in a couple of weeks. I can't wait. This is amazing.
Oh, now the Bear's here. I see the Bear. Let's talk to the Bear. Oh, I'm so excited.
All right, let's take a quick time out. We'll come back with Chris Fallica, the Bear, our buddy. He's with Noon Kickoff on Fox, Bears Bets. He's got all kinds of stuff. We have a great list, and I'm going to ask him for his 3 best bets, both in college football and the NFL for the upcoming season. The Bear, next.
I did not come out of my room after Don Shula cheated and beat in
You're right.
in the NFC Championship game.
Please tell me we're rolling right now. We are. This is good. This is live. Yes. No, please explain to Chris Cote how Don Shula cheated against the Jets.
They had 90 inches of rain down there.
Yeah.
And instead of covering the field and keeping the field in a playable position, they opted not to cover the field because they knew Freeman McNeil was going to run all over them. and they kept the Jets offense without their best weapon.
Great coaching by Shula. The
He's a cheater.
Is a cheater.
The cobbler.
Competition and rules committee in his pocket his entire career.
Oh my God. Put it on the scroll. Someone credible. I mean, perhaps one of the most credible guys in our industry.
That's my take. I will take to my grave. Don Shula is a cheater.
Put it on the scroll. The Bear said Don Shula is a cheater.
Yes. Great stakes, but he's a cheater.
He wanted a slow track that day, a sloppy game,
absolutely.
and he got it, and he got a win. Yes,
and in essence, it ruined the franchise for years.
Yeah, but now that I'm thinking about it, Bear,
in the back.
First, Cody might be right. I mean, is he a cheater or a great coach? If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
I guess yes, home field advantage. He took advantage of it, but yeah, it was. He had the league in his pocket. God damn it!
What are you watching? You have a bet on something. The Olympics are on. He's always got a bet on something.
I have FAA against Rude, and FAA was up low 40 at 4-4. Pissed away 4 break points. Yeah. Had the match on his racket in the second set tie break and double faulted. Now he just missed an easy forehand to get the break in the third.
Is there a minute of any day in which you don't have some sort of wager?
Yeah.
Really?
It doesn't happen
often.
Like
oxygen for you, I feel like.
Exactly. You gotta have something.
What are the saddest bets? Not saddest, but like during the off season of sports when there's nothing to bet on. Like, what are you betting on?
This one.
Well, this like right now the Olympics there's a lot, but like let's say like 3 weeks ago, like when
it'll be like a random like championship division or like League One soccer match, something like that, or just a random Aqueduct is running. Let's see what we're like in the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, put me inside your head when I tell you this. We are 4 Saturdays away from Hawaii hosting a home game at midnight Eastern. I mean, against
UCLA, right?
I think it's Delaware State. No, something like that.
Yeah, they have Delaware State, and then UCLA is following you.
I know. I'm a degenerate.
Delaware State has actually been part of a college game day site.
Really?
Delaware State was an opponent of North Dakota State. I think the first time game day went to Fargo, Delaware State was the opponent.
Interesting. You're excited though, aren't you? We're here. We're here. I know.
We are here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Are you concerned at all? Well, let's start here. What are your feelings headed into what is it is. It's a new college football. So what are your feelings headed into what is a new college football setup?
I think it's a little bit of the great. Are we actually is this like for real now, or is this?
If you think we're not putting in Shula's a cheater, like you're out of your mind. Of course.
Well, I know that's going in there. I would hope that's going in there.
Oh, it's all going in.
It's a truism.
Yes.
But yeah. So everything's fair game here. I get it now. I like the way you work. It's interesting because I think a lot of people don't know what to expect with the expanded playoff and even really how the seeding necessarily works. I think people who are like kind of figuring this out still, and I guess the macro big picture everyone always asks is like who can win the national title, and Ohio State and Georgia, the obvious 2 teams, and then Texas and Oregon are like the 2 teams that people will say after that. And I'm not sure if people quite grasp that only the conference champs are going to get buys in the playoff. So, like, if Oregon finishes second to Ohio State or Ohio State finishes second to Oregon, one of those teams is going to have to play that out bracket game, even if we know that they are better than one of those, the Big 12 champ or the ACC champ or whomever. Same goes in the SEC, where if Texas were to finish second to Georgia or vice versa, that team's going to have to play the out bracket game and play that extra round. So I think that's one thing that is of interest to me. That ultimately, how are we going to seed these teams? I've always been an advocate of like it's possible for a team that's 10-2 to be better than 11-1 and deserve to go over that team. Like 1-loss record is like not the best indicator at all of how good a team is. So I think, will we see that? How many SEC and Big Ten teams will we see in the playoff, and how will the committee rank these teams? Like, say you've got a 9-3 whomever. Let's okay. Here we go. Let's say Georgia happens to have a terrible year and lose those 3 losable games, and the Bulldogs finish 9-3. Like, they're probably still one of the best teams in the country, but where will the committee rank them? So I think just the unbalanced schedules, which are really going to make win-loss records kind of, I don't want to say irrelevant, but less important, and just the overall seeding and ultimately who will wind up finishing second in those big 2 leagues and having to play that extra conference playoff game.
If I have a concern, Bear, it would be this. I thought college football already had it right. The regular season felt like the playoffs to me, right? Every game meant so much.
That's why you and I get along.
Yes.
It's not like, let's include everybody and have one big. It should have been hard to get in. They knew what they were signing up for when they made it 4 teams. It should be hard to get in. And I think I'm sorry to cut you off. I feel bad.
No, it's okay.
But that I think is the biggest thing about the playoff. It's about more fan bases having a playoff game, when in actuality, they're really not expanding the field of teams that can win the title. They're just giving us more games, which of course is great because we can bet and lose more money on them.
My concern, though, it's like Ohio State and Michigan, a game that everyone loves to see every single year. If both those teams feel like they're going to get into the playoff, why would you play your starters? Why would you not save them for the games that are coming up that are far more important than Ohio State and Michigan?
And I agree. We're never going to have a situation like we did last year where it was in Ohio State, Michigan, winner goes to the Big Ten championship game and potentially the playoff, and the loser is out. I guess the only rationale behind that would be is if you're in a position to either be in the Big Ten championship game or not. Like I said, if you finish second and you don't make the conference title game, you're going to have to play that extra game, and maybe you find yourself in a 6-11 game with whomever, Ole Miss or Penn State, and that's obviously a much more difficult game to have to play that extra game as opposed to being a top 4 seed and in there. So I think in that regard, the committee and the playoff committee did get it right in a sense to kind of, okay, we have this in mind, so let's make sure that teams don't do this, because obviously we see that in the NFL all the time in week 17, where you've got teams that absolutely punt on the game, knowing that their playoff situation isn't going to be affected one bit.
Is the problem expansion, or is the problem expansion to 12, do you think?
I think expansion in general.
Yes.
Okay.
I just...
It's supposed to be hard.
It is.
I
it
agree.
Should be hard. What do you think, like 6 or 8 would have been a much better solution or resolution?
I like 6. I like the idea of 2 with a bye, 2 hosting a game, and 2 just happy to get in. That's what I liked.
I'm not opposed to that, and I think if you went to 6, I think one of the bigger obstacles that we've had so far in like why this didn't happen sooner was because of the Bulls, and like including the Bulls. Mm-hmm. I love the fact we're going to have home playoff games. That does make the regular season matter some.
Yeah.
And if you had it at 6 and you had those like out bracket games, if you had like that first round game and then the next round, and then you had like the championship in a bowl game, that would have been great. But you had to find a way to include the bowls, and they're still trying to figure out with the Rose Bowl. The Rose Bowl wants their January 1st, 5 p.m. Eastern kick, and we'll see if they get it. But again, we all love the sport. We all love games. We're all going to watch. We're all going to bet. I just think that it's the messaging, I think, has been wrong. We're not really making it more open to teams that can win, because ultimately I still think the number of teams that can win is probably no greater than 3 or 4.
All right, I'm going to ask you a question here, and I want you to give me, I'm going to pin you down. You need to give me one team for each of these, all right? Because there's probably a handful of teams for each of these you could say. Give me the team that is the happiest with the new playoff situation, because they're like, we never had a chance before, and now we're going to be in there every year. And then give me the team that is the team that is angriest.
Penn State.
All right.
Penn State.
All right, so Penn State's the happiest.
And to give you just more than the one word answer, and like Stu said, like they they were in a position where you're going to have to play Ohio State and Michigan basically every year. And now their schedule got much easier. They were going to be 10-2 and in that division with Ohio State, never had a chance to get in the Big Ten championship game if they were to lose those games. Now you can be 10-2 and you're going to be in. And I think Penn State is the absolute winner in terms of getting into the playoff and having a chance, because even the year that they won beating Penn State and they finished 10-2, they should have been in the playoff that year, but they weren't. But the Lions, I think, are the big winner.
Is it Georgia and Alabama that are the angriest about this? They're like, hey, we liked this setup. This worked out pretty well for us. Like, I don't need 16th. Like, I think want this.
See, I think, they might be, but at the same time, I think Greg Sankey is like, hey, we're going to get 4 teams in the damn thing every year, and because we are the best league. And I don't necessarily think. I think Alabama's more upset that they lost Nick Saban. And I think that's a massive story, and I think that's a big question going into this year, because I mean DeBoer is a great coach. He's won games as an underdog and with some teams that have been haven't necessarily been as good as others, and I think that's a great story. Like, was the Alabama dynasty just simply Nick Saban, or is it indeed have staying power now with Kalen DeBoer?
Who is the coach that has the most amount of pressure on him this year? Is it Ryan Day?
That's the easy, obvious answer. Yeah.
Right. Is there someone beyond that?
People were calling for him last year. He brought in his buddy Chip to be the offensive coordinator now. No one spent more money in the transfer portal than Ohio State. You've got a great recruiting class. They're loaded on defense as well. He's the obvious answer. I'm going to say Deion Sanders.
Wow.
I think at Colorado, with everything that happened last year and the roster overhaul, and you go what they go 4-8 last year, and a little bit of mismanagement of some games, kind of overhauled his staff again, kind of doubled down on his roster building strategy, didn't necessarily have a great recruiting class. Now you're in a different league. Look, you've got probably the two best players in that league with the son Shedeur and Travis Hunter. If they go out again this year and go 4-8 again, I think all the momentum and all the buzz and all the hype around Coach Prime and Colorado, and this is great, and the new way of doing things, that kind of is muted a little bit. So I think there's a good bit of pressure on Colorado this year to make that next step and get at least to a bowl game, if not 7 or 8 wins.
Will we hear again 2 or 3 weeks in that the U is back?
Well, are you a Canes Connection member?
No, I'm not. I mean, Mike has tried to rope me in. No, why should I? I didn't go to school there. I mean, I went to Clark University, man. We don't have a football team.
Yeah, I have a hat. I should have worn the hat for the interview. He's probably going to be mad at me that I didn't wear the hat and give him the advertising. But,
he'd be mad at you if you wore the hat. It doesn't matter. He's just angry, that kid.
No, we like Mike. He's angry.
I love Mike. He's like a son to me.
But he should be angry, and I'm angry. It's funny. I'm in a group chat with Mike and all the guys down there, and we have a lot of fun. And the hype and the Kool-Aid is being drunk. But I'm trying to be a little bit of a voice of reason, maybe playing the role of pessimistic alum somewhat. That you're right. We've heard this before. Greg Ward's come in to play quarterback. Brock Berlin's come in to play quarterback. New coaching staffs, new coordinators. Look at the schedule, how easy it is. And they've won one game once in 17, 18 years, won 10 games once in 17, 18 years. And that was smoke and mirrors in 2017. They are in a terrible spot in that week 1 opener against Florida. Yeah. You've been the buzz hype team all of off season. They're trendy pick to win the ACC. And look, they could win the ACC, or they could go 9-3. But week 1, you're going to Gainesville, who has been Billy Napier, and that program has been shit on for a year now in the off season. They're terrible.
That's a coach with pressure, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like now you're going to be a home underdog against Miami, who's expected to go in there and win that game. That's a terrible spot for Miami to open the season. Now, maybe we'll get a situation where like 2001, they went to Penn State, and people are like, oh, that's a difficult opener. And they kicked the shit out of Penn State week 1, and that proved to show how good they were the rest of the year. Maybe it'll go that way. Maybe they will come together with Cam Ward and Brown and the transfers on defense, and they'll come together and play a great game in the opener, and they'll go up and open a lot of eyebrows and raise it, and people say, hey, you know what? Okay, they are as good as we thought they might be, and it could turn around. But I don't worry about like the Florida State game or the Louisville game and like that. I worry about like week 4 when they go to USF and they're going to be like a 4.5 or a 5-point favorite with a team that's got a good quarterback, and Alex Golish just lets them hang and is an aggressive, confident head coach. That's the type of game that scares me. So, like, it was funny. I texted those guys before. I said they could win the ACC and go to the playoff. They could finish 9-3. Neither would surprise me.
Anyway, new kickoff. You can check him out right there on Fox. Also, Bear Bets is his podcast. Check it out as well. I'm going to ask you here, okay? Since it's Olympic time, I'm going to ask you for the medal stand, your top 3 picks headed into the college football season for the audience here, okay? So you give us bronze, silver, and gold. We have a sound to accompany each, okay? So give me a little room once you give us your pick here. So let's start with your bronze medal. College football. I'm assuming this will be a win total or something like that, or team to make it to the playoff or something like that.
Exactly.
So Bear, go ahead. Give me your bronze medal college football pick headed into this season.
Get on the podium for the bronze in college football. UCF to win the Big 12. That's around 8-1 or so. KJ Jefferson going to play and Gus Malzahn on offense is a big problem. I think their schedule works out pretty well for them. You bring in Ted Roof on defense, and I think they brought in like 6 or 7 Power 5 transfers on defense as well. New league, the schedule I think is very manageable for them. UCF to win the Big 12 at like 8-1 would be the bronze medal bet.
Chris, Cody, are you writing all these down, by the way? Because I am not, and I need these.
I'm literally placing the bet right now.
Everyone has written it down. Mikey just showed it to me. Having some feedback back here, just so you know. Okay, thanks. Fix that. Anyway, let's get to the silver medal. Go ahead.
Runner-up, silver medalist. Arizona under 8 wins, which at last check was under 8 minus 140 at DraftKings. I worry about Arizona this year. New league in the Big 12 now. New coaching staff is Jed Fish has gone on to Washington, taking his staff with them. Lost some players. They did keep Noah Fafita and wide receiver T-Mac around, but I wonder, like, the defensive line rotation is gone. There's no wide receiver depth after McMillan. So I worry, too, about these breakthrough teams. Like last year, they broke through 110 games, pulled some upsets. What happens the year after when they're super hyped and they're expected to take another step forward? The road schedule is probably about as tough as you could get in the Big 12. You got to go to Utah. You go to UCF. You go to TCU. Who knows what Colorado and Texas Tech will be like? It just doesn't feel like there are many layups like there were last year in the Pac-12. If you got to win 9 games to beat me, fine, I'll take my chance. But Arizona under 8 for the silver.
Chris, did you write that down?
I already placed it.
Okay. Let's go.
I'm also going to parlay them.
Everything.
There we go.
Wait, I still have his NFL picks to get to. I'm going to parlay all of it.
That too.
Right, let's get to your gold
Round
medal.
robin, birdcage, all of
them. Gold medal, according to Chris Fallica, the Bear. What did Dan call him that one time, Chris Cody? Do you remember? Fallica?
Oh, yeah.
I only knew him back in the Miami days when he was covering the Canes and being in the FIB office every day. Not a big deal at all. It's fine. Clearly, I made an impression.
That's why I call you the Bear. It's easier. Yeah. Exactly. Let's get to your gold medal pick here.
Gold medal pick, college football. Georgia or Ohio State to win the national title. There's a prop out there in Vegas at the South Point Casino where you can get the two of them together to win the national title. You could also do it another way and just simply play Georgia and play Ohio State, 2 teams to win the national title at DraftKings or wherever you make your bets. I just think that they are head and shoulders above everybody else in college football. And I think the number of teams that would have to beat Georgia or Ohio State in the semifinal and then beat Ohio State or Georgia again in the championship game, there aren't a great number of teams with the amount of depth and quality depth to be able to do that. So I think it's Georgia and Ohio State head and shoulders above everybody else. Bet the both to win the national title. I think you'll be in good shape.
Really going out on a
there's
limb.
the Bear set.
Really going out on a limb on that gold pick, huh, Bear?
Well, hey, minus 110, minus
Just put it
110, it pays just as good, right? Minus 110 on a side or a total, or minus 110 on one of the two best teams in college football to win the title. And the great thing about that is, if you're in a position where if they are on opposite sides and you do get an upset in one of the semifinals, you're in a position to take a really nice plus price on the underdog to lock in a profit. So
yeah.
You may not like minus 110 on it. It might even be, you might be able to get a little better number at DraftKings if you just take Ohio State to win the title and Georgia to win the title. See, I can't get that number for you right now because I'm in Connecticut, which is an awful state. And in that state, like college football futures, like they aren't all readily available. So I can't get the most updated numbers for you.
I'm seeing 3-1 for Georgia and 4-1 for Ohio State right now.
Yes. So you're probably going to get around plus 130 on that, maybe. Yeah. So you might even get a better number than laying the 110 with the 2 for the price of 1.
Don't tell Fallica how to bet. He knows what he's doing. What's the matter with you, Chris?
No, I don't know how to bet. I don't know how to bet. That's the problem. My two of the biggest things about being a successful, being able to handicap is good, but actually knowing how to make a good bet, that's really important. And money management, that's also really, really important. I'm probably good at one of those three. I can make a good bet, but I don't always do the right things.
But what you are is informed. You don't see Dolphins -9 against the bad team and lay the 9 points like me and Chris do every single weekend.
Laying north of a touchdown in the NFL? What could possibly go wrong with that?
Me and Chris like a big spread at home. We do.
Love it.
All right, let's get to your NFL. Bronze medal here.
Ravens to miss the playoffs is my bronze medal bet.
Now that's a limb.
See, exactly. You're giving me before about Georgia or Ohio State to win the national title. Whoop-de-doo. But look at the Ravens. Are we sure Derrick Henry is like a 17-game running back and is a massive improvement over what they had last year? The non-division schedule for the Ravens, Eagles, Cowboys, Bills, Chiefs, like it's hard. Like historical year last year, you lose 3/5 of your offensive line. Morgan Moses is gone. Simpson is gone. Like, it's a big deal. Kevin Zeitler is gone too. Like, Patrick Queen went to Pittsburgh. Like, I'm not sold that it's an automatic shoo-in for Baltimore to win 10 games this year. And if you go 9-8, you're going to be relying on a lot of tiebreakers. That division's the best division in football. So, plus money. We'll see if Lamar and that offense can do it again this year. I'm going to take the Ravens to miss the playoffs at plus 240.
I like that one. A little meow there. All right, let's get to your.
Did you write it down? Or did you bet it already?
Oh, he bet it already. Chris has it. Mikey is writing him down because he wants to figure out how to parlay all this. Chris is just putting him in as you tell him.
Just directly in.
I'm in a DraftKings state.
See, I'm in a DraftKings state too. NFL, I'm good. College,
I'm in Connecticut.
It's not. I shouldn't say it's not DraftKings' fault, by the way. It's like the Connecticut Department of whatever who oversees this crap, and they have no idea what they're doing.
But what Chris Cote is doing is having Mikey A put the bets in for him in Connecticut on DraftKings because we only bet on DraftKings. That's it.
Teamwork.
Yes.
Sure. Yep. I'm writing down the bets to place them when I'm in the right state.
Excellent. See what I have to do with a lot of my college football stuff is I'll drive up to Massachusetts. I'll literally just go, and it's not far. It's like 35 minutes or so. But I'll just go across the board in Massachusetts and I'll be able to get all the college football win total head-to-heads that they have up, odds to win, make the playoff, all this stuff. So
best stuff DraftKings has.
Yeah, it has it all there. But unfortunately, Connecticut, I can't do it. So I gotta take the drive up to Massachusetts, just go across the border. It's actually a nice little spot along one of the side streets. You park on the side of the road. It's like a little dirt road area, little body of water there, trees. It's actually kind of nice and peaceful there to sit there and just fire in thousands and thousands of dollars.
Fair. $1 billion idea. Me and you will bring these guys in. Nice little parking lots just over the border with bathrooms and stuff. You pull your car in. Just perfect little bet spots, little betting rest stops.
But here's another one.
Like a service station with a McDonald's and a gas station. It's that you could just bet. I love this. Yeah, let's do this.
Great Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi.
Exactly. Like when I was out in Vegas, in between, I was in LA for 5 weeks working the soccer, and then I had a couple of days off, and then I had to go back to LA for our football meetings at Fox. I spent a couple of days, went to Vegas, and rented a car because I had a bunch of bonus bets that I needed to use from DraftKings and other sites. Literally went to White Castle, picked up some bacon double cheeseburgers, a sweet tea, some mozzarella sticks, and some onion rings. Hopped in the car, 35 minutes across the Arizona border.
Love it.
Got off at the Kingman Access Road, parked on the side of the road, pitch black, dark, and just sat there for 2 hours, had my White Castle, fired in some bets, and no one around. I mean, I could have been abducted. It costed. Anything could have happened. Like literally nothing around but me on the side of the road firing in my bets. Because
won't happen at the Bear Best Bet rest stops. Won't happen there.
Mikey, I am telling you, I love this idea. It's the DraftKings rest stop, right? You can place a bet. And I love the idea of the sign as you're getting off or as you're approaching it. It says, next chance to gamble 32 miles from now.
You get the Stugotz God Bless Football $25 bonus bet for making a bet at that. They can track the signal where you're making the bet and they give you a little boost. How about that?
Yeah, legit good idea. We have to, Chris. We need to pitch this to DraftKings.
I love it. I'm writing this down too.
You're pitching. I thought you were going to tell me you already pitched it.
See, the other one that you guys have power. I got no juice. I'm just a schlep. I'm a nobody. We need to figure out a way to like cross-sport parlay with horse racing. People always ask me like, how are we going to improve horse racing? I'm like, if we can get like the horse racing, like who wouldn't want to parlay the winner of the Whitney Stakes with the Carlos Alcaraz to win the U.S. Open or the Dolphins to win the Super Bowl. Like we need to get like the horse racing feature big race. I want to parlay whomever to win the Breeders' Cup Classic with the Jets to win the Super Bowl and throw money away.
Well, I mean, just light your money on fire. I mean, what's the matter? Now, I wouldn't drive 35 minutes to go to another state but you love gambling to place a bet. I would do it to buy a bag of weed, though. I mean, and I have, and I will again. All right, where were we? Silver medal NFL. Okay, yeah.
Seahawks over 7.5 wins this year. I love the McDonald coaching hire. I think they're going to find themselves in a little bit of a better situation on the coaching staff. I mean, as much as we all love Pete, he wasn't necessarily at times the best decision maker, in-game manager. Some of the challenges he made were terrible. I'm not a Geno guy, but you could do a hell of a lot worse. I think Byron Murphy's going to be a force on that defense. And this is something you're going to want to get on early because you get Denver and New England to start. I mean, Denver obviously will be starting Bo Nix. New England, who knows if they're going to start Brissett or Drake May. So you're probably looking at a Seattle team that's opening 2-0. So if you're looking at going over on the Seahawks, you want to get on that preseason, whereas maybe if you want to go under, you wait a bit, they're 2-0, the number comes up a little bit, and maybe you can buy some back. So Seattle over 7.5. I think the Seahawks are a sneaky team this year in the NFC.
Bet placed. All written down.
I like it. All right, let's get to your gold medal.
This wager has been sent to a trader for approval.
Let's get to your goal. How's your bet going, by the way? Whatever you're watching right now, how's it going?
Felix Auger-Aliassime seems serving 5-3 in the third for the match. 15 all, and we need FAA, and I'd be shocked if he won because he pissed away 4 break points. In the second set when it was 4-4, Rude won the game. They got to a tie break. He had the match on his racket in the tie break and double faulted. And usually when you do that, you don't win. So I apologize for me every now and then looking over my shoulder.
You don't need to apologize. You're giving us gold right now. You're giving our audience your best bets here. Let's get to your gold medal pick here for the NFL.
Gold medal bet NFL. It's a bit of a contrarian play. You're probably not going to like it, but I'm going to go with Chargers under 8.5 wins.
I do like it.
Yes.
I thought you were going to go Chiefs to make the playoffs. I didn't know you were.
Right.
Yeah. Chiefs minus like 1,100 to make the playoffs. That's my gold medal bet. Exactly. What could possibly go wrong with playing like 1,100, right? I had that happen to me the other day in the Canada-France women's soccer match where they added like 16 minutes of stoppage time.
Oh.
I had the Canada team total under. It did not go well as Canada scored the second goal. 14th minute of stoppage time. It was bad.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts thinking about it. Yes.
But Chargers under, like, I think the fact that they're perceived to be much better this year because you get the Harbaugh bump, that perceived easy schedule. This is like a total roster overhaul. You've got Herbert and you've got some pieces, but like, it just feels like no matter who the coach is there and no matter who the quarterback is there, the Chargers just feel like being like this snake-bitten team. They were in cap hell, so they had to let a bunch of people go. The secondary might be really bad. I know the schedule appears to be easy again, just like it was last year, but I think that's being put to the forefront more, and what's being overlooked is that this is a team with a lot of gaping holes and a talent deficiency. So under 8.5 for the Los Angeles Chargers. Jim Harbaugh, long-term fix. This year, I think they're going to take some lumps.
All right, check him out on noon kickoff on Fox coming up in a few weeks. Also, Bear Bets is the podcast. Anything else we should be promoting? I know we have a list to get to. I'm going to make an announcement to you in just a second here. Do you have anything else you'd like to promote?
No, we're good. The Bear Bets podcast. College Football Preview 1 is out. NFL Preview 1 is should be out as well. We'll have some columns on foxsports.com. Big Noon Kickoff returning. Week 1 will be in Morgantown. Week 1 for Penn State at West Virginia. Should be a great scene. But that's all I got to promote right now, my man.
All right. So you and I have been having a funny text conversation, and I'm going to tease this, which means you're going to have to come back on the show, okay? Because we're not going to do it right here.
No!
Let me just explain it, because we took too much time with your bets and just, I don't know. Okay. So if it's okay with you.
I had a top panel for you ready to go.
All right, so my list, just so you know, I asked Bear to come on. He responded yes. I said, you're one of the great guys in sports media. You're on my top 5 list of good guys in the sports media. Here's the problem. I'm stuck on 4. I can't find 5. I can't get to 5. I can't. You're on the list, just so you know.
Thank you.
And my list is the Chris Mortensen Good People in Sports Award, Sports Media Award, but I can't get to 5. So I need another week. So if we could perhaps do this next week or the following week and have you back on.
Whenever. I have a top 10 ready to go, all alphabetical.
Do you really?
I didn't want to offend.
You didn't want to rank them.
I want to rank them.
So you got to 10 and I can't even get to 5. I mean,
you're a tough grader. We have 1.
Yeah.
Wow, look at him.
That ticket,
Perfect. Take everything he just told you to take.
Now I'm not going to win a bet the rest of the day.
All right. Bear, we love you. We'll figure out next week or the following week. We'll come on and do the much
Absolutely. We'll offend a whole lot of people that I used to work with.
No, I want to offend them. I've already offended everyone because I can't figure out who the 5th good person in the sports media is. We don't have any. Right.
Full of
Put that on the scroll, okay? Don Shula is a cheater, and sports media is filled with assholes. Thank you, Bear.
I am just a content provider, my friend.
Yes, you. Mikey A.
Yo.
Chris, there are certain people, when you see them, you think football. You think gambling, and you think football.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Fallica, the Bear, is one of those people, right?
Just a delight.
Yeah.
It's amazing that you're right that you think football, considering he's probably made so much money on things like cornhole and ping pong and stuff like that. Because he's just a gambling fool.
I bet his unit has gone up since he went to FS1.
You think?
Got a big payday. I mean,
he got a big payday. He did. They pried him away from College Game Day and took him over to Fox.
I mean, I'm sure he was doing well at ESPN too, but I just to get him to go from there to there, I bet they gave him a good. I'm just imagining in his mind, did his unit take a big leap? You think? I don't know. I feel bad. Now we're in his wallet. I feel like
no, it's okay. We had this discussion with him last year. People said that about us when we left ESPN. Who the hell would leave ESPN? My own father said that to me. Who would leave ESPN? And people probably said that to Fallica. Who would leave College Game Day? Who would leave ESPN? Well, Fallica would. And why? Because Fox offered him a pile of money. That's why. And he took it. And good for him. I'm happy for him. He deserves it.
And I would say that big. I mean, I still think College Game Day is the cream of the crop when it comes to pre-football. But the Big Noon Saturday has, he's brought that up. I feel like more people watch that than they ever have before.
Well, no, he told us last year he went there, so they had already built that thing, and it was doing pretty well, and Fallica felt like he was jumping on at the exact right time, and he was. That shows, the noon show on Fox, Noon Kickoff, is a pretty good show, and they usually have really good games at noon right after the game, right after the pregame's over. So, who else do you think about football? For me, it's Chris Berman and
Ron Jaworski.
Yeah, Joe.
Sal Pal. Basically the NFL film show, Merrill Hodge. That whole crew.
Hodgie.
Sims.
Yeah.
Ed Werder. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Ed Werder's a good one. Yeah.
What do you think Merrill Hodge
we're not going to.
What's Merrill Hodge doing right now?
I have no idea. Break it down film somewhere.
Yeah.
Brought to you by State Farm. With Jaws. And Sal Pal. Sal Pal is one of those people where you think, you see him, you think football. Herb Street's another one. Brian Baldinger.
I remember seeing Brian Baldinger in Vegas when we were at the Super Bowl, just on what's the thing that we stayed near? It's Fremont Street, and he's just walking around with his just Brian Baldinger hands. And I watched him for 10 minutes. I just kind of followed 100 feet behind him. I'm walking behind Brian Baldinger right now.
With a crooked finger.
I'm just telling you, you see those hands from a mile away. There are some people in life. Troy Aikman's got these hands. You see the hands from a mile away.
Yeah.
The pinky's doing its own thing.
Have you seen Anthony Munoz's pinky, by the way?
No.
It is.
He shakes your hand and he's pointing in 7 directions.
How's Mike Golick Sr.'s hand? Does he have offensive line mangled hands?
No, he's fun. I got to tell you, Golick Sr., who is on my list, by the way, spoiler alert, for good guys in sports media. Again, I couldn't figure out a fit.
Is Kirkchin on there? I was thinking Kirkchin.
Listen, I don't want to give too much away here, okay? Perhaps your dad, he might be on the list. But
not you.
Mike Golick, somehow, I'm not certain how long Golick played. Was it 10, 11 years? Mike Golick made it through fairly unscathed. He's had some surgeries, but he looks good. He walks correctly. His body parts are intact. His mind is sharp. Mike made it through. You agree, Mikey, right?
Sure. I mean, I think he'd tell you otherwise with those surgeries, but
I'm saying comparing to others.
Looks good to me.
Yeah, comparing to others. Yeah. DJ Moore getting $110 million. That it's a lot of money. For a wide receiver. He deserves it. The only thing with the Bears, it's weird. The Bears are a tricky team where that team is so loaded. The quarterback coming in is supposed to be a generational quarterback. By the way, I put a flyer, Bears to win the NFC. I did that on DraftKings, of course. I think the Bears have a chance to be a really special team. They have built this entire team around Caleb Williams. And if Caleb Williams is good, doesn't have to be great, just has to be good, the Bears are going to do big things this year in the NFL. I don't know why I felt the need to end the show on that note, but I wanted to sing the praises of the Chicago Bears and Matt Eberflus because I think that team is going to make it to the Super Bowl out of the NFC. How about that? Football is back.
We are back.